The following video is sponsored by Cotner Funeral Home. Last month, Reynoldsburg's Board of Education met, as they do regularly, to discuss everything from the academy structure to House Bill 512. Such discussions prompted a great question, and a few follow-up questions many might have. First and foremost, what is House Bill 512? House Bill 512 is state legislation introduced to the Ohio House of Representatives on February 14, 2018. The largest parts of House Bill 512 would see many duties held by Ohio's Board of Education transferred to a new department. Such a department would be led by a governor-appointed employee, one which would be confirmed by the Senate. That department would also receive duties once held by the Ohio Department of Higher Education and the Governor's Office of Workforce Transformation. So why is the bill so divisive among educators and lawmakers in Ohio? To understand the argument surrounding House Bill 512, let's examine both sides. Supporters of the bill say that the legislation contained within would give Ohio a more unified front in education and pave the way for decisions to be made easier and quicker than they are currently. Those same supporters also source the facts that Ohio students attending colleges are underprepared for the college course load. A study conducted by the Ohio Department of Education states that 31% of students attending a public college or university are taking remediated courses in either math or English before taking their regular college course load. Problems with the amount of students completing college and earning a degree are also lumped in with the reasons people are supporting the bill. They say that the bill would align K-12 education with higher education to promote the concepts of allowing Ohio students to graduate college and/or find a job in Ohio's workforce. Furthermore, supporters say that Bill 512 would stop the politicizing of educational decisions. Under the current system, the governor of Ohio can make decisions on educational legislation, but this legislation must first go through the state school board. This process is labeled by many as an unneeded check of power that only slows down the governor's ability to make rapid changes to education when it's needed. The opposition of House Bill 512 make the fundamental argument that this process is necessary in a democratic system meant to represent the people. That, along with the idea of separation of powers, is why Reynoldsburg School Board members Joe Begeny and Robert Barga are against the passing of House Bill 512.
You're removing the ability of the people to decide how education goes and putting it into the hands of one particular administration. While the risk is minimal in times in Ohio because it does typically lean to one political party, the reality is if it flips, then all of a sudden the entire method, the entire process of education could change, and then 4 years later, as he said, it could do it again. And then that doesn't do anything good for the kids. The kids need some consistency. We've had multiple versions of tests over the last decade. We've had different requirements for graduation, and then we've had different schools, both urban, rural, suburban, rich, poor. All of them are struggling with all of these changes because there's no prep time to get teachers prepared for it, let alone the students.
There's a lot of issues in education that have multiple sides, far more than two. And the reality is a lot of people think they're acting in the best interest of the kids. But we all have different views of how to get to that end goal. Some people think more testing is needed, some people think less, some people think none. Some people think that we need more funding, some people think we're adequately funded, some people think it should be entirely local. When you look at something, say funding, which is a constant issue for the past almost 3 decades now in the state, we've had a battle over the constitutionality of funding. There's a group that believes that all funding should be done based on your local taxes. Now, for an area like Upper Arlington or Worthington, that's an okay system. They have their housing values are high, their money is high, they can do that. For a place like Columbus, that's not feasible. The other side is you have a lot of people who believe that it should be a state-based funding. We should get as much money as possible from the state. The locality should be able to raise more money to, add some new things, build an extra weight room, that sort of dynamic. But that side really believes that we need to ensure that every student is given at least an equal footing in order to achieve greatness. When you remove that from the political equation, the end result is going to be whichever ideology that the governor or the executive has is going to end up dictating that. So every 4 or 8 years we're going to be changing, and every 4 to 8 years we're going to have a new system, we're going to have a new budget to work with, we won't be able to deal with it. You can't project long term on that, you can't do a 10-year, 15-year levy on that. That's just one example. When you look at the testing, when you look at curricula, when you look at even what should we decide teacher pay on? Should it be merit-based? Should it be some holistic approach? Should it be, as long as you don't screw up, you keep going? What dynamic do we want? All of that should be controlled locally, because after all, we're teaching people's kids. Those people should be able to decide the issues.
House Bill 512 is a pivotal moment for education in Ohio. And no matter what side you stand on, there's no denying the weight it will hold in deciding the future of education in our state. Stay tuned to thisisreynoldsburg.org as we keep you up to date with all of the information surrounding House Bill 512 in the near future. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and check in for content uploaded weekly.